aqui, ó. Agora sim, mano, ó. É, Motorola. Seguinte, mano. Tem um videozinho aqui que eu quero muito assistir com vocês. Só que é um vídeo que a gente já assistiu aqui na live, tá ligado? Há muito, muito tempo atrás. Só que é um vídeo muito bom, mano. É um vídeo muito engraçado e que vai virar conteúdo pro apenas Josefino. Então, eu acho que vale muito a pena a gente assistir de novo. Que é o quê, mano? Que é o Kiko do Crack experimentando coisa no Brasil. Esse vídeo aqui é maravilhoso, mano. Bora ver? Eu já assisti esse vídeo. Eu já assisti esse vídeo em live, já assisti off. E vou assistir de novo aqui com vocês porque vale.
Hey everyone, hope you're having an amazing day. It's Mark Wiens. I'm in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Rio de Janeiro.
And favelas are a community of informal housing, which is a major part of Rio. As you drive
Não sei ler? Ixi, aí é complicado, mano.
Streets, you'll notice high-rise buildings, but in between the buildings and within the valleys and literally on the sides of cliff mountains.
Esse cara, ele viaja o mundo inteiro experimentando comida e experimentando pimenta, porque essa é a pira dele, tá ligado?
You will notice favelas. Now, it wouldn't be right for me to not mention that a lot of crime does take place in favelas, and some of them can be dangerous in certain areas, especially without the right connection. However, the favelas are also, there's a totally different side of the favela.
Mano, eu vou comer um pãozinho aqui, tá ligado?
It's home to some of the most creative, some of the most hardworking, and some of the most heartwarming, welcoming people in Brazil as well. And so today we're going to go on a food tour of the favelas of Rio. We're going to visit 2 different favelas. We are going to eat some home-cooked food. We're going to eat at some street food stalls. We're going to meet some amazing people. I'm going to share all the food with you and the entire experience with you in this video.
Good
morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Rafaela. How are you today?
Good morning, Cypher BR. Muito obrigado pelo resubzão, mano.
Salve José, 2 meses do pai, curto muito seu conteúdo, tamo junto.
É nóis, cara, eu que agradeço pela sua presença.
Hey, very nice, very good, thank you.
Awesome.
Guilherme,
Hey, yeah.
nice to meet you, man.
You guys, pleasure.
Guilherme.
Yes.
Awesome.
We're gonna jump on motorbikes. Helmet on. All right, we're off.
Bom dia, bom dia.
A felicidade do homem.
On our way.
Yeah, buddy.
You gotta really hold on because these hills are steep, man. What's amazing about favelas is that, I mean, it is an entire community, so it's like an entire city within a city, within Rio de Janeiro. There's businesses, there's
Esse rolê já deu 200 conto. Quanto será que ele pagou aí, né?
everything here.
Ô, felicidade.
That's steep, man. Obrigado.
That last bit was
Valeu.
so steep, I was sliding. Get this up. I was sliding off the motorbike. We'll have a new appreciation for hills. They're so steep. Even just walking around, yeah, taking a motorbike is a roller coaster experience. And then walking around, oh, hello chickens. And walking around is, you get a workout. I think it's a community jackfruit. They just split it open.
Nossa, jaca.
All the motorbike
Jaca é um bagulho muito estranho, né, mano?
drivers are grabbing pieces, and even people walking by are just having a piece of it. Wow, that's very, very ripe. It's good though. Really, really sweet.
It's a pleasure to receive you guys right
Thank
here.
you so much, man. Yeah, very cool to meet
I'm
you.
a born and raised
Jaca é um negócio difícil de encontrar, né? Não é normal assim, tá? Vou comer uma jaca.
in this favela. This favela is the biggest favela in Rio. I mean, like in Brazil, it's a kind of city with a city.
for
There are
sure.
300,000 people living here. So, welcome to my place. We're
cara
gonna
fala
hang
bem,
out
né?
together here. I'm gonna take you like to some really nice places. We have a lot of stores, restaurants. So, food is what we have most.
Yes.
I mean, like a lot of food, so the experience of all like food will be really nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking us around.
This is the most famous coxinha of the area.
Oh, cool. It's one of the Brazilian snacks on the go that I haven't tried yet, that I'm very excited to try.
Obrigado.
You have
It's in like a teardrop shape. I'm like impressed how heavy it is, how dense it is. Like you think it's gonna be like a
Meu Deus, uma coxinha.
airy
Quantos? 2,50, nem fudendo, mano.
pocket, but that is dense. You don't
Hoje em dia não é 2,50 não, uma coxinha.
normally eat it from the top or any way you like.
Verdade, que ano que é isso aí? Maio de 2019.
From the bottom? Yeah. Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's a personal choice.
Okay, he says from the bottom.
actually, for me, tradition. I'm gonna ask for coxinha.
From the bottom?
Ah, não,
said
mano.
Eat all the chicken first, and then
And then more bread on the top, plenty. Okay, he's the expert. He said,
Ah, não, mano. Aí é uma opinião muito pessoal, tá ligado? Comer pela cabeça ou pela borda, né, mano?
eat it from the bottom.
O gringo comendo a coxinha toda torta.
Oh yeah. That's amazing. Hot sauce. The batter, the outside wrapper is made from cassava flour. You can taste that it's kind of gummy, kind of sticky and very starchy. The inside is a mix of chicken. Tastes a little bit like tomatoey, but mostly just like shredded chicken. That's just delicious. That's hearty. That is packed with chicken. And Guilherme just came out of nowhere
Os
with
caras ali
bottle of
atrás só
hot
mandando
sauce
leishão.
and drenched mine in it.
Não, ele não come nem pela ponta, nem pela traseira, ele come o bagulho deitado, né, mano? De lado.
Oh, with that hot sauce. Oh yeah, that's spicy. That's like vinegary. That like goes up your nose. That's amazing. Yeah, and then this is some of the cashew juice. It comes, your set comes with a coxinha and some of the juice.
Suco tangue de caju.
Oh, nice. This is cashew. Cashew is the cashew fruit.
Yeah,
That's the cashew fruit juice. Oh man, that's amazing.
Os outros caras tão tipo, foda-se esse gringo aí.
It's slightly fermented taste, very, very fruity, very tropical. Not too sweet. It's filling. Oh, it's so tasty. It's really good. So good, man.
yeah, thanks, appreciate it.
This place is called Sabor da Rocha. Sabor da Rosa. They're so cool. When
Da rosa.
you are here, check them out. Come have a snack. That was tasty.
Sabor da
So in the
rosa.
favela, we have only one main street, that one. It's called Estrada da Gávea, right? But the majority of people live in little alleys. We have a lot of alleys right here. It's the most dangerous thing that could happen to you in the favela is to get lost. It's a kind of a huge maze.
Most of the favelas, most of the people live down side alleys, which are only walking space. So we're just going down a side alley right now. What's amazing
O
about
gringo, ele tá numa
favela is just
aventura,
the
mano.
community, and then everybody knows each other. So you know everyone that owns the shops. You know you have friends all over the place, and so there's a trust factor of everybody that knows each other. Little barber shops, little convenience stores.
Nossa, mano, é uma cidade real mesmo, tem tudo.
Staircases. You can get your pet food.
You can get your TVs fixed
Só as
and your
TV zona.
appliances fixed. And all within a walking only little very small alley with power cords running right above your head. Look at the art too.
Só os gatos.
These are like all the people
Porra, mano.
everything mixed.
Caralho, mano. Vai dar bosta nisso daí, mano.
So guys, now I'm gonna have a surprise for you. We're gonna visit a place called Gate of Heaven.
Mr. Raimundo. Mr. Raimundo, 88 years old. Bom dia.
Ô, Raimundo.
You step out onto the top of his house, onto a patio, and it just overlooks the entire valley, Rocinha, all the way down into the valley, all the way to the sea with the mountains. It's like an amphitheater, and then you can see just a massive rock face to the left-hand side, and even more housing that goes up. If you look around at the top of the
Vista
roof,
foda.
you can see most houses, all houses, have these
Só as
big
caixas d'água.
blue water tanks. There are services in this community. There's electricity, there's internet, there's water, but it's sporadic, right? Sometimes it turns off, sometimes it's not, sometimes it just doesn't work. So then people do store water. We're on
Música
our way now to
brasileira.
go find some food. But then in the next favela that we go, we've also arranged for some home cooking, so that's coming up as well. His name is Anderson. He's the chef here.
Salve,
He's an amazing
Anderson.
cook. He's friendly. He's so cool.
Dando uma amassada no feijão para ele ficar com o caldo mais melhor. Olha quando é...
Amazing cook. He's friendly. He's so cool.
Dando uma amassada no feijão para ele ficar com o caldo mais melhor. Olha quando é bom ele abre o jogo.
Let me just give you a quick little tour of this restaurant. He does all the cooking right here, and it's literally like his home. And then if you come out of the kitchen, you've got the little bar counter right here with drinks in it, and a little bit cold. And then if you continue out here, this is the little dining room section. There's 4 tables set up. And
Mano, vou falar um bagulho aleatório agora. Esse cara aqui, ele tem um canal também de viagem. E eu já assisti alguns vídeos desse cara. E ele tem um vídeo, acho que na Indonésia, na Tailândia, sei lá, mano. É um lugar muito remoto, assim, que ele visita um lugar onde... É tipo uma feira livre de carne, tá ligado? Só que é uma feira livre... Não é o gaulês. É tipo uma feira que eles matam o bicho lá mesmo, tá ligado? Aí, é engraçado, mano, porque esse cara chega assim, ó, nossa, olha... Que maravilhoso, os locais, nossa, maravilhoso. E o pessoal lá atrás matando o rato, mano. Eles só dando pau lá, assim, tec, mata rato, tec, mata rato, tec, mata mais um, tec, mata mais um. E ele, nossa, que maravilhoso, os locais aqui, ó, vivendo suas vidas. E eles comem os ratos, nossa. Um bagulho muito bizarro, mano. Os cara matando um rato assim, tec, 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 tec. Enfim, um bagulho que eu lembrei aqui que eu assisti.
And then if you continue out here, this is the little dining room section. There's 4 tables set up. And then if you go up these steps right here, this is literally the alley. And it's an amazing little spot. He's so friendly. The aroma of those beans.
Não vamos assistir em live esse vídeo dos ratos.
Beans and meat cooking just like goes down the alley. I don't know how you could not stop when you're walking through here.
Ó, o feijãozinho. A porra pratada, pai.
Would you prefer here on the balcony or on the table?
All right, moving out. And they do have the
Os
indoor
caras só
section
vão, né,
where you
atrás.
can sit, but he does have, this is like the VIP, this is the ultimate seating, bar counter seating along that
Mano, pior que eu acho que esse prato de comida é o mais clássico brasileiro, né?
alley. He just sets the food right in front of you. It's hot, it's fresh, it is definitely cooked with love, and like it smells delicious. Try some of that beef first. That beef rib.
R$10.
It's beef rib, right?
Yes.
It's so tender, costella. Look at that meat.
R$10 e é um puta pratão de comida, mano.
The jiggliness of it. That's just like falling apart tender.
A criançada. A cara dele.
Anderson. Anderson.
Anderson.
Sabroso. Oh wow, those ribs are
Anderson. Anderson.
amazing. Like, they're so tender. They just fall apart.
O Anderson respondeu só com... Ok, Gringo.
It's disintegrating in my tongue. On my tongue right now. Okay, move into some of those beans and rice. And there's a little bit of like, maybe like onions in there. I love how beans are...
O pessoal lá fora, eles costumam comer feijão enlatado só, né, mano? Será que é muito diferente desse feijão nosso que a gente come? Porra, eu não consigo imaginar... o pessoal de fora não ser uma coisa normal eles comer feijão, tá ligado? Porra, mano, feijão pra nós é a base da vida, né?
So common in Brazil. I love beans. They're hearty, they're nutritious. They're just good. Pasta, I'm gonna add in a little bit of that farofa.
Farofa. Aquelas farofa clássica.
The mix of starches, but most importantly, that beef rib is absolutely incredibly tasty. He did just bring us another plate of meat, which is like beef, maybe like sauteed in a pan.
Carninha frita.
A little more like grizzly texture to it, but in a good kind of way.
Mano, olha o tanto de comida, mano, por 10 pila, velho. Nossa senhora.
There's like salty,
2019.
flavorful beef. I'm gonna try some of that
Vai hoje em dia pra ver quanto que tá o preço disso daí.
fatty piece.
E faz 2 anos só. Só faz 2
Like, it's
anos
all
disso.
good, but that combination, that beef rib, the tender fattiness, will just melt in your mouth.
There's good heading it down there. How's the ribs, man?
Amazing, really good.
It's so good, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the beef, man.
Os dois caras comem até por 10 pila. Se ele estiver funcionando. Ah, mas eu digo no geral, tá ligado? Não só esse cara aí, mas o resto das outras coisas.
I'm just loving everything about this.
Toma.
Muito obrigado. Muito obrigado.
Valeu.
Tchau, tchau. Obrigado.
Cachorro puto. O cachorro. Tá porra, mano. O cachorro querendo comer querendo comer a canela de um.
From here, we're walking back down actually to the entrance where we took a motorbike up at first. We're gonna walk down. This is like underneath a tree, underneath a building, underneath the highway or the road. And it's a little tunnel back here, taking some shortcuts, I'm sure, to get down. This goes for all of Rio de Janeiro and all of Brazil, but the murals, the wall art, the graffiti, it's spectacular and it's so colorful. Definitely a faster route than the road. That has to go back and forth switchbacks is just taking the staircase.
Felicidade do bicho. Do homem.
Back
Subir
out onto
dessa
the main
escada.
street. This is the main street of Rocinha. Sushi bar.
Yeah. No.
Man, these amphitheater views with the rocks and stones
Nossa, mano,
and
olha o tamanho
mountains in
disso,
the
velho.
background. Wow.
Mó da hora.
Oh, and the sea. Just stopping in to buy some water. Obrigado. Awesome people. And this is their store. It is just packed from the roof
Só os
to the
Nescauzinhos,
pillars,
capinudo.
everything you could need. Obrigado. Muito obrigado. Have a great day. And we just got some water.
José, desculpa atrapalhar a live, mas por favor vocês podem mandar minha diretora se foder, ela não quer deixar eu assistir a live.
Não vou falar isso aí não, tá bom? Vai estudar, mano. Vai estudar, tá ligado? Sai da live, mano, pelo amor de Deus.
Obrigado.
Não.
Bom dia.
Vai estudar, porra.
Tiny staircases leading to people's
Nossa,
homes,
mó
little
curtinho.
walkways, little pathways, little like tiny spaces. And then all at once you emerge back onto the main street. And then as you get to the base of Rocinha, to the base of the mountain, the base of the community, there's just more and more shops, there's businesses, there's restaurants, there's supermarkets. All services you can imagine are all down here. It was amazing to visit Rocinha. Thanks so much to Guilherme for showing us around. That was great. Meeting some of the people, eating lunch, eating some food. Yeah, wow, that was a learning experience and it was, yeah, cool, man. Thank you so much. Muito obrigado.
See you next time.
See you next time, man. Thank you.
Só foi.
Valeu. You're on our way to another favela, which is kind of across town. On the other side.
Yeah, it's located downtown Rio called Morro da Providência.
Morro da Providência.
Morro da Providência.
And it's another favela where we're gonna meet a lady who's gonna home cook us a meal, and she's gonna cook what is it is the national dish of Brazil. We made it to a downtown area, and from here we're gonna jump into, it's called a Kombi. It's like an old Volkswagen van.
Nossa, o cara conheceu até uma Kombi.
To the favela. Oh yeah. And we are off.
Rolezinho de Kombi, porra.
Okay, we've reached the end of the route. Jump out here. Thanks, man.
No problem.
Combizinha de transporte, né?
This is underneath an abandoned, or within an abandoned rail car,
tá muito
kind of
feliz,
cable car station. She is going to be cooking for us.
O cara tá curtindo a vida, né, mano? Pô, conhecendo coisa nova. Ó o bar da Jura aí.
Also maybe has a bar called Bar de Jura, and her name is Jura.
Oh, Jura.
Following Jura back to her house. So she owns that bar underneath the abandoned railway station, cable car station. Now we're going up to her house. Check out the Brazil logo. Awesome.
Ó a criançada.
I think we made it to the house.
Rua do mundo. Going upstairs to show her
Ó,
balcony.
humilde, tirou o tênis.
Like a great view of the
Another room up here on the second floor.
Aqui tem a outra subida, né, que eu te falei. Quando...
Fall down there. Okay.
Meu, ele tá sumindo de meia aí, mano. Vai sujar tudo a meia.
The view from up here, like 180 degrees, is fantastic. And again, just the construction of the houses, just going up the face of rocks, up the face of the mountain. And even, yeah, this house is 4 stories high just because it goes
Só
up.
pegou.
It's so steep.
Ó, feijãozeira.
Aí aqui tem costela, tem o chispe.
Jura is going to be making a
Que é chispe, mano?
dish called feijoada, which is
Meio
it
estranho
is
isso, né,
considered one of the national dishes of Brazil. It's an ultimate dish. It's an amazing hearty dish. And something I didn't know before coming to Brazil is that feijoada is a dish that's typically eaten on the weekends, Saturday or Sunday, because it's a heavy dish. It's one of those dishes that you want to eat and then take a nap after you eat it. So best reserved for the weekend as a family meal. It's gonna get started now.
Feijoada tu come, tu fica sem andar por uma semana.
Cuidado aí que você viu, tá?
Okay.
Tem que lavar bem lavado.
And this is a dish that includes very hearty. It includes beans, but much more. Beans go in.
Tá tudo já limpo, aí tem que ir primeiro. Aí agora carne seca. Sente só o cheirinho.
Oh.
Cheiro de pica.
Cumin. Pork is a major part of feijoada, but not just the meat, but all pieces of the pig.
Nossa, mano, tanto de carne,
she added
velho.
in all the different parts. You see some of the leg parts, some of the hoof parts, some of the, probably the ears, the everything.
Baconzinho, né? Padrão.
E tem a lua que é...
So that bacon, and then she just added in some olive oil, is going to be for the farofa, which is she's going to add some cassava flour powder to it. That's one of the staples of Brazil.
Tá ele.
Caralho, tanto. Porra. Aquela farofinha
Ele queria
drip,
que
hein,
eu fosse
mano.
até o teto igual a ele, eu vou nada. Ah, ela fez balé, eu dancei balé com...
And now
Pô,
she
pior que é
added
mó
in a
bom
whole
essas
bag of
farofas
cassava
assim.
flour powder, mixing that in, working it in. That is going to be ultra flavorful. Farofa is ready. That smells delicious. She just had to slowly stir it so it gets a little golden color without burning. Her incredible cooking expertise. She's a master.
Felizão.
Awesome.
Enquanto a comida não fica pronta.
Ó, pra tu provar.
Obrigado.
Tá quente, hein? Não vai...
Getting a taste test of the farofa.
Desgraça.
Oh yeah. Oh, it is hot. It's crispy. It's so flavorful from that pork fat and the bacon. Another dish that she's going to be making is
Beleza,
gnocchi.
batatinha.
It's called gnocchi.
Yeah, gnocchi. Shrimp gnocchi.
It's gnocchi with shrimp, which is one of her specialties. Potato
E
noodles.
aquelas...
Ô, camarãozinho é bom, né, mano?
For the shrimp, she mixed in garlic. There's a little bit of cumin, vinegar, and lime juice.
Vai passar vergonha, vai. Não, não vou passar vergonha, não.
Aí, limpinho, ó, dona Júlia fez. Tá bom.
Tá de boa.
Tá de boa, ó, viu? Pimenta manguex, ok?
Não vai passar vergonha, não, pô.
And then into the potato went 2 eggs and some flour, and that's looking more like a dough. Okay, for the feijoada pot, She added in, she took off the cover, she added in the ribs and the
vai colocar o
sausage.
porco inteiro
Put the
ali.
cover back on, that's gonna cook more. And this is some of the pork crackling that she fried up, marinated again in some vinegar.
Pouquinha coisa na feijoada, né?
A little bit of cumin and garlic.
Ah, pouquinha coisa.
And she wants us to taste it. Oh, I bet you can hear that crunch on the microphone. Wow.
Crocante, delícia.
Muito sabroso. Oh, it's so crispy. The crispiness of that skin, the fattiness of that meat, the
Só os
flavor.
vlog.
Porque de repente as
Negócio de
pessoas
feijoada,
não
quem não
querem
gosta,
comer.
né?
Só lá no cantinho aqui, ó. Olha, ele tá emocionado.
Obrigado.
Aí, agora sessão de alimento, ó.
She just hooked us up with a couple spoons of chilies directly onto the crispy pork. What a brilliant
Mano, tanto de
idea.
baconzinho.
Oh, wow. A world-class snack. Oh, with that spicy vinegary sauce. Now she wants us to taste it with the farofa. Like,
Farofa.
dinner has not even, the meal has not even begun, but we're just like snacking on the different ingredients. She wants
Vai,
us
irmão,
to,
come,
and
come.
there's no way I can
Eu sei
say
que tu
no
vai
to
gostar,
it.
irmão. Eu sei que tu vai gostar. Falei que ele ia gostar.
That combination. Oh, Judah.
Ô, jura.
Muito bueno.
Muito bueno.
The sun is going down, but she is still cooking. The aroma of the food is incredible. It should be ready pretty soon. But just take a moment to appreciate, enjoy this view. An amazing city. The people we've come across today, the food we've had. This is gonna be like one of the greatest meals ever in Brazil right now.
Atrás, mano. Olha o nhoquezinho saindo.
Finally, she's squeezing that potato batter through the press and chopping it off to form the little bite-sized gnocchi little bits. I've eaten gnocchi many times, never seen it made. This is my first time.
Nhoquezinho vai ficar como, mano, naquele tipo.
For the sauce for the gnocchi, which is it's gonna be a shrimp sauce, but she added in onions, sweated down some onions, then in some tomatoes and green peppers, then some tomato paste, then some coconut milk. So it's really gonna be Italian, Brazilian, but Judah's own style.
Estilo da Jura. Oh,
Then
Jura.
the shrimp goes into the sauce. That's gonna be rich. That's gonna be thick, thickened with the coconut cream, and that's gonna be eaten with the gnocchi.
Show.
How much it comes from her heart, how much she loves it. She even dances when she's cooking. She is amazing, amazing lady.
Ó, tá quente, bebê.
Tá porra, bocão, mano. Tá maluco. Tá porra.
Tá quente, bebê.
That is amazing.
Gostou?
Yes, me gusto.
Bebê.
Ixi, deu bom aqui, hein? Rolou o clima aí, mano.
Oh, wow. She is taking care of us like a mother.
Nós estamos show. Vem ele, ó. Show.
Show.
Ai, meu Deus.
No idea
Ó, aí é
what dance that is.
No, show it's like, is everything fine? You wanna have the
tudo ao mesmo tempo. Feijão. Ei.
Caralho. Panelona, mano, a panela grudou tudo.
Show, não tá? Tá show de bola.
Show de bola.
Show do milhão.
É, show.
Oh, wow.
Ué.
Fazer a coisa.
Gente, a gente
Não é que é pra ficar.
Caralho, tem
Finally,
mais
she
coisa
also
ainda.
sweats down some kale, sweats down some garlic and some kale to go with the feijoada. In order to honor
Oh,
both
couvezinha
of
mó
the
bom.
dishes, we're gonna begin only with the gnocchi so that we don't mix the two, because they're almost like two full separate meals
Porra, mano,
she's
que
prepared
fome,
for us.
mano. Pior que eu tô com
The gnocchi
fome.
with the
Acabei de comer o
camarão,
pão, mas
that's
eu tô
her
com
like
fome.
signature dish that she's known for. But then the feijoada, she just knows how to cook everything expertly.
Será que ele vai gostar?
Oh, that is stunning. Like Brazilian, Italian, home cooking. You taste the coconut milk in there. You taste those tomatoes and peppers simmered down. The gnocchi just melts in your mouth.
Porra, nesse dia aí o cara encheu o bucho, hein?
Muscly shrimp, insanely delicious.
O cara, mano, o cara encheu o bucho.
That is just marvelous in every single way.
É nóis aqui, Newton. Obrigado pelo resub.
Você comeria esta
That gnocchi.
Eu comeria.
Unbelievable.
Comeria esta
Finish my plate
porra.
of gnocchi before moving on to
Comeria esta porra feita pela véia show.
the feijoada.
Isso é o que, Kinder Ovo?
It's just incredible. The meat bits.
Porra, o tanto, mano.
Eita. Nossa, tem costela. As carnes.
Ai, mano, que felicidade.
Show, show, show.
Show, 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 show,
Show.
Tá vivo, tá vivo.
Tá vivo.
She just might be the coolest lady in all of Brazil. Everything is falling off the bone. It's that tender. All of the fat, and then she separates the meat with the juices and the beans. And then she did a beautiful, beautiful feijoada dance for us, shaking the meat, and you could just see it wiggling. Oh, wiggling meat. That cannot get better than wiggling meat.
Faz parte. Bora lá.
Mano,
tem que
O arroz do feijão sempre
em 2019, mano, o cara chegava com 10 doll, mano, ele comia o mês inteiro.
tem que botar o feijão antes.
There's nobody who could make a better single plate of the feijoada than Judah, so we asked her to make a plate. Added everything perfectly with a selection of all the different pork, the ribs, the ears, the feet, the gelatiny bits, all things included, with the beans, with the rice, with the kale, with the farofa, with the pork crackling. Meal cooked from the heart.
Tá meio estranho esse negócio aqui, né, mano? Não vou falar.
I gotta begin with these, I gotta begin with those beans. The gelatin and the, oh man, what is that little tube? Oh.
Claro que ele gosta, né, mano?
Oh wow. That is like
Como que ele não vai gostar
the
disso?
most fall apart tender pig.
Agora de noite?
The beans, the starchy beans, the farofa, which has that like crunchy starchiness to it. The farofa. It's so good. It's so like crispy. It's like breadcrumbs almost, like but cassava with that bacon. Like, everything tastes like bacon. Oh yes. Moving on, let's try another piece of this pork.
E
You don't
sempre a
even need a
pimentinha,
knife.
né?
Look at that. These like bits of meat, just like, look at that. With some of the crispy pork, with some of the chilies, with. Oh man, it's almost too good to be true.
Será que esse gringo ele coloca o feijão em cima ou do lado do arroz, mano? Ou ele coloca o arroz em cima do feijão?
It's unbelievable, and what's amazing is also the different parts of the pig, because all of them have different taste, textures, all of them have different, like,
Nossa, ele
jelliness
suando.
feels to them.
Suando de tanto comer.
The fattiness content, the porkiness, the beans, the most beautiful plates.
Arroz em cima do feijão é coisa de psicopata. Ah, mano, eu coloco do lado, tá ligado? Eu coloco do lado, assim, arroz, aí do lado o feijãozinho.
Rabinho saboroso, rabinho salgadinho, né?
That's a jelly fatty piece.
E a música? Futebol, samba, alegria, Brasil.
The only thing I might do,
Inúmeras perguntas que eu recebo, tanto no Instagram.
I'm gonna rejuice. I'm gonna rebean it.
Bastante gente.
And these beans are like literally like liquid pork. Drench everything in bean
Porco em
juice.
líquido.
Because it's actually like liquid pork.
Meu Deus.
Oh, wow, it's unbelievable.
A laranja faz toda a diferença, quebra aquele...
Dude, that is
Caralho. Bateu um negócio ali quando ele comeu, mano.
heavenly bean juice. Because all of those oils, all the
Porco
collagen
líquido,
has just
caralho.
come out of the pork into the bean juice.
Ó.
Oh, dude. Look. I was like biting down way harder than I needed to. I did not need to give it that much effort.
Imagina, mano, toda vez que tu for comer, tu ficar com essa felicidade. Nossa, é verdade, né, mano? Ele tem um pescoço mó fino, né? Você é louco, olha lá,
Did
mano.
not need to give it that much effort.
Olha lá o pescocinho dele.
It just slides off the bone.
Caralho.
We have to say a massive obrigado to the chefs, Jura and Elaine.
How do you like it?
It is just stunning beyond belief. Muito bueno.
Muito bueno.
Muito saboroso.
Muito saboroso.
Estamos emocionados.
It's beyond, like, this is home cooking beyond belief.
Muito
Like, more
foda.
comforting.
É que ele aprendeu a falar uns xingamentos BR.
More comforting than you could possibly imagine.
Caramba.
Ó. Tá porra. Bocão.
That rib. I am sweating from that feijoada. I am so
Música
happy.
Brazilian, no
I am
copyright.
just like, that was a hearty,
Caralho, de noite, mó da hora.
incredible meal where every single bite was just cooked with passion and love. It was such a good meal in such a beautiful place. I cannot even like.
Ele soa até de noite,
Just
mano.
thank you from the bottom of my heart to Jura and
Oh, Jura.
Eliana for cooking that incredible home cooked meal here. That was just spectacular. And so we have come to the end of this favela food tour of Rio de Janeiro. And I mean, it was just one day. It was just a taste of the life in the favela and learning about the favelas of Rio. But again, favelas, they don't get a good reputation, and they definitely are the center of where a lot of crime takes place and where a lot of organized crime happens in Rio, in Brazil. But that is by not even close to the majority of the people that live in the favelas, that call the favelas home. I'm happy that we were able to show a positive side, people making a difference, and this is an experience that I'll remember for the rest of my life, and it was a privilege to have a chance to visit both of these favelas today. I don't even know if I can make it out of this favela though after that
Mano, o canal desse gringo é muito da hora, mano.
meal. I might need to spend the night here. Oh man, okay. But that's it.
Ajuda.
Big thank you to Guilherme and Rafa from Rio for Fun, Rio for Food. They run tours, they're cool. They make videos as well. I'll have their links in the description box and everything we did as well. And man, what a day in Rio.
Será que no final teve um datezinho com a Jura?
We're gonna also be traveling all around Brazil. So I'll leave the link in the description box, but you can check out all the videos. If you're not already subscribed, subscribe and click the little bell icon so that you get notified of the next video that I publish, but then watch the entire Brazil series. We're learning so much about Brazil, traveling around Brazil, eating the different food. The diversity of Brazil will just, it will blow you away. Brazil is amazing. Check out all the videos. Thanks again for watching. Good night from Rio de Janeiro. See you on the next video.
Descobri isso agora, mas é isso. Muito bom, muito bom. Apenas um gringo visitando o Brasil, né, mano?